And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. Regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose.
We, the people. We, the people, tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We, the people, are the driver. The government is the car. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are. Our Constitution is a document in which we, the people, tell the government what it is allowed to do.
This administration in Washington has betrayed the working men and women of this country.
I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited. There's a clear cause and effect here that is as neat and predictable as a law of physics. As government expands, liberty contracts.
A recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose yours. And recovery is when President of the United States loses his.
Someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. The martyrs of history were not fools. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Shed Show. I mean Machine. Machine, that's the name of the radio show. Been having some lovely technical difficulties. I had a hell of a time getting the video feed up just a minute ago. It was just not wanting to work. Again, I got to, my hat's off, and apparently my hair too, to Restream for being infinitely patient in a guy who is not dumb, but apparently doesn't know anything about computer software. Just going to say that. I got to thank them a lot. I've apparently been putting them through a beating. And I'm still probably putting them through a beating. I really hope that poor guy has a good night after dealing with me. Seriously, I gotta thank them a lot. I can't say enough about them. And, well, we have a show to do, I guess. Let's start right off with our lovely friend, Mr. Bernie Sanders. Bernie it's not point and click, Sean, and thanks for taking me off the thing there. Yeah, it's definitely not point and click. If it was point and click, I wouldn't be losing my shit, so to speak. Anyhow, Mr. Bernie Sanders. Okay, he's come under a lot of scrutiny, and apparently, the company that has me produce their shirts for them, one of which I'm wearing right now, has even chimed in on Mr. Bernie. Mr. Bernie apparently praised, of all people, Fidel Castro at one point in his life, and he's recently come under fire for it again. And he just keeps digging that hole a little bit deeper. He really does. It's unbelievable. Basically, there was a hashtag. I can't stand hashtags, but there was a hashtag put out there. Hashtag Fidel Castro. It trended over the weekend after Bernie Sanders said during a 60 minutes interview, that it's unfair to simply say that everything is bad about the late Cuban president. People from Cuba would really like to disagree with that, Bernie, just so you know. But he says, we're very opposed to the authoritarian nature of Cuba, but, it's unfair to simply say everything is bad, When Fidel Castro came into office, you know what he did? He had a massive literacy program. It's like, oh, well, that's good. So they can read. They just unfortunately can't say anything or, I don't know, have a life of their own that isn't under your jackboot. But, we'll just go with that, man. It's cool. We're helping you, Bernie. And speaking of Bernie, like I said, the company that has me produce their shirts has chimed in. And this one's for you guys. That's right. And it says Bolshevik Bernie's modern day Pravda underneath the whole CNN. Just so you know. It's kind of a nice shirt. I kind of like it, to be honest with you. But anyhow, on CNN's New Day, political analyst John Avlon devoted Monday's version of Reality Check segment to Sanders' comments. He said for decades he celebrated aspects of the Cuban Revolution. This is, to use a favorite phrase from the progressive left, problematic, he added. Avlon then showed a montage of various headlines reporting on Sanders' past pro-Cuba and pro-Sandinista past. Oh, shit. I didn't see that part. As a frontrunner, Bernie Sanders' record is going to come under scrutiny in front of a far larger audience, obviously, than it ever has. And, well, in another interview, Cuba under Castro is just the beginning, apparently. Yeah, this. Oh, man. All right, who's sending me messages? Oh, hey. Yeah, I'll check that out here in a little bit since you're bouncing back and forth. Excuse me. Yeah, this is gonna be a long show for me, apparently. Now let's get back to what I was doing. Oh, excuse me. The Florida Republican Party even spoke out Monday morning and said Florida will not stand for Bernie Sanders' comments. We're home to over 1 million Cubans, and it's disgusting that a Democrat frontrunner is impressed with Fidel Castro's murderous regime. I cannot blame them for saying that at all, because that's exactly what Castro was. It's no different than, Stalin or, well, it is different than Stalin. He didn't, Castro didn't kill millions, but he sure as hell killed a lot of people. But the similarities are kind of pretty close. But, Bernie is, everybody knows the man is absolutely insane to begin with. So it's not, that far of a stretch that he would he would just be like, yes, Fidel Castro is a good man. He, you can't blame him for everything. He did a lot of good things. Yeah, that's Bernie.
He's a pedantic, pontificating, pretentious bastard, a belligerent old fart, a worthless, steaming pile of cow dung.
Yeah, that fits Bernie pretty well. Excuse me. I got some sort of friggin' upper respiratory kicking my ass today, too. Matt is, by the way, since I haven't said anything yet, Matt's not here. Matt has a flu, and I told him he's under quarantine just to stay away. Yeah, I don't want it again. I've had enough crap this year already. But historian Patrick Iber actually contextualized the interview with Sanders, and he says Sanders is explaining that one of the reasons that ordinary people didn't rise up against Castro more was he put in place wildly popular programs. Yeah. See, that's the thing, and that's exactly the problem. The problem is the way things are going. This country's starting to fall in line with that. It really is, and it's terrifying to know that. It's just unbelievable that people are falling for this. They're getting so duped. They're that, I don't know, they're mental midgets. I'm sorry, but anybody who votes for Bernie Sanders quite possibly a mental midget. That's all the Democrats have been pushing. I'm not even saying just Sanders. That's all the progressives. That word progressive, is it should actually be terrifying to anybody who I don't know loves freedom, But apparently it's not working. But Sanders, that this is his entire platform is let's give more free shit. This is the Democrat way. The progressive way. Let's say, well, we're going to give them more free shit. Free healthcare for all. This is going to be great. Everything's going to be fucking perfect. There's going to be nothing wrong with this. Nothing can possibly go wrong. And then you find out. You just let the government run your healthcare. They get to make the decision on whether or not you get to live or die or what care you get to take. Which, by the way, we already have a light version of that. It's called fucking Obamacare. I'm a victim of Obamacare right now myself, so I know exactly what I'm trying to say, and there's no hiding it. But he wants the extreme version of that. And by the way, it's going to cost trillions of dollars to put forth. And his tax plans and stuff like that, and his anti-Second Amendment things. Everything that this man does is inherently against what this country was founded on, and what it should be as of today. And the fact that anybody can say differently, you're fucking insane. You're plain insane. I can't even fathom how somebody would fall for this. And we have chat room number 2 popping up. Yeah, how many people take a honeymoon in Russia? Exactly. Bernie Sanders actually did take his honeymoon in Russia. Oh yeah, there's no way. You're absolutely right, Mr. Sean. It wouldn't be more than their projections. Never. That would never happen. Honestly, I mean, how would that happen? Hey, Angela, you're just in time for the shit show here. In fact, hold on a second. Since Matt is not here, and I'm on my own, I gotta grab something here. I'll be right back. 1 second. Somebody forgot their little friend here, the bottle of Kraken. And since I forgot to bring a shot glass, I'm doing this straight out of a solo cup. Yeah, there's nothing more redneck than this. Kind of sounds like I just pissed in the cup, but I assure you that's the lovely sound of the Kraken. And I'm going to need some of it because, like I said, tonight has not been... I'm agitated because of the issues with our streaming service and stuff like that, the glitches and everything that we've been having. And I literally, like I said, with Restream, worked right up to the time of the show trying to figure this out. So I apologize if I'm also just a little agitated of just about everything at the moment. Mostly has to do with Bernie Sanders, of course. And the Democrat ticket as one. Has anybody been watching the debates, by the way? I just got to ask that before I take a quick break. Have you watched the debates at all? They're fantastic. I mean, what I mean by fantastic is they give you material for days. It's unbelievable the kind of shit that they say. And I will be saying a few things about that here later on, especially about Bloomberg and, well, Bernie again. I think I got plenty of Bernie tonight, and I'm about tired of looking at him, but, somebody's got to do it. Anyhow, I am going to try and get myself retriangulated here, get everything set back up. So let's find something to play real quick, and then we will get back to business as usual. Do-do-do-do-do. As soon as I find something to play, I mean, all my plans really just went out the fucking window when I decided to try and fix everything. I probably shouldn't do that again. I am not playing Cannibal Corpse, man. That's. I mean, you know me, I love the heavy stuff, but Cannibal Corpse just isn't one of them. Sorry, it's kind of like listening to ass. You know what? I think I'm gonna play some Sepultura, actually. I'll be right back.
Hey lefties, liberals, and progressives. This is not a safe space. I repeat, this is not a safe space.
If you are one of those squishies who are easily offended, put on your safety pins, pussy hats, and leave this radio station. Or you can free yourself and get educated.
Well, hell yeah! I tried to twist him up, but he wouldn't have it. Hell no. This old boy's wild. We about to have to keep this one.
You are listening to the Machine Radio Show with your hosts, Brandon
And Matt.
Talking about a bunch of hobos with fingers in each other's pooper in a stranger's car with talk radio playing really loud. It's going to be a nice evening.
Okay, shit just got real weird. I think I'm gonna need a safe space.
What the? Are those friends of yours, Matt?
Oh, hell no.
Are you sure?
Oh, shut your dumpster and start the show already.
Well, all right, pissy pants. Let's do everything you want to do. And I am back. And before we get on back on to beating, Mr. Sanders around, this guy, wrong titty, this guy right here, this guy, yeah. Before we get back to beating on him, I gotta say something. Hey, Sean, Mr. Listener Sean there. We were talking about the band. I love Sepultura, man. I really do, but I don't like any of their new stuff, really. I mean, the Cavalera crew that's Sepultura to me. So we might feel a little bit differently about this. And hi, Mr. Ho-Ho, I drank 2 shots for you, actually, because, I'm bombing like Berlin in 1945. I noticed lately, actually, with my musical taste, I bounce back and forth. I really do. I love my heavy metal. I mean, the heavy shit is amazing. I went back to my roots, man. I started listening to to 80s stuff. I mean, I was cracking Motley Crue out left and right the other day, and Black Sabbath and Quiet Riot and the Ozzy period. And Dio, and it's just a bunch of 80s stuff. London, Wasp. I started listening to all my 80s stuff again. I'm like, my somebody said that my YouTube mix is very bizarre because you'll go from from 1981 Motley Crue, and all of a sudden you'll have Upon a Burning Body, and then it'll flip over to just something really strange. Like, what? I was like, I love my music, I really do. Oh, Angela, there's a few things on here that you probably haven't heard as of late that are on here. But I don't, yeah, exactly, Sean. I don't understand the new guy either. I really don't. Yeah, Max and Igor Cavalier, those guys were Sepultura. All right, since everybody wants me to get back to what I'm doing, because, there's people in the other chat room that are yelling at me like, okay, we're talking about music. Well, you know what? I love music, so if you don't like it, well, fuck you too. Going back to Mr. Bernie Sanders, Bolshevik Bernie, who's now, he says that he'll make fossil fuel industry pay $3 trillion for their pollution to fund the Green New Deal. Let me remind you that the Green New Deal basically takes you back to the Stone Age. I mean, their idea of Green New Deal is, well, let's eliminate this, let's eliminate cars, let's eliminate this, this and that, anything that burns gasoline. Even in the lovely state of California here, they are trying to take away gas-powered leaf blowers. Yeah, you heard that. Gas-powered leaf blowers. They're starting there. It's a test phase, and then they're like, okay, well now we want you to have an electric this and electric that. Fuck you. Okay. In fact, the back of my truck where the exhaust comes out actually says "fuck Greta." I'm sure she's very, 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 very thrilled about that. I mean,
how dare you?
But I do. It also says Prius repellent, though, so if you drive one of those hapless little pieces of shit, sorry about your luck. Yes, Bernie's platform is in fact to remove student loan debt and free medical marijuana to certain people. You know, I can understand. Yeah, Prius repellent is badass. I love it. I know. I love that decal. Medical marijuana. I can't believe I'm going to say this. For certain people, maybe I would have no issue them getting it free. Maybe the elderly. You know, I'm pretty sure that Bernie needs a lot of medical marijuana because, you know, he's fucking fried anyway. But anyhow, he says he wants to make the fossil fuel industry pay $3 trillion to the Green New Deal. He's already been criticized during the debates to begin with for not fully explaining how he will pay for programs. All he says is Medicare for all, and he doesn't fucking say anything. Like, okay, you can, you know, I can say a lot of things, but how am I going to put them into practice? You know, that's something a candidate should know and be able to explain at will. You know, but apparently this man cannot. But anyhow, he pushes those programs. He doesn't know how he's going to pay for the programs like Medicare for All, or his proposal to address climate change, which, by the way, is bullshit. And I don't care what all of you say about it. Climate change is natural. Climate change is normal. Climate change is going to happen. We've been doing it since the inception of this globe thing that we chill upon, and we're not really making a dent in it. So I don't know how throwing tax money at nothing is going to help anything. But you know, that's what we do in the first place. But if Sanders is elected, the candidate says the Green New Deal will cost $16.3 trillion fucking dollars. That's nearly the a carbon copy of our national debt at this point, and that's with all 45 presidents combined. That's how much it'll cost you. Oh, and it will create 20 million union jobs. You know, fuck the little guy. You know, we'll just go for the unions. It will be paid for from 6 sources, according to Sanders' website. The fossil fuel industry will pay $3.085 trillion for their pollution through litigation, fees, taxes, and eliminating fossil fuel subsidies. So basically, he wants to make sure he puts you in the dark, and he doesn't realize that apparently this is going to cost us. You know, the American taxpayer, the fucking poor. The ones that he says are, you know, that he's just so for. He's so for the poors in this country, you know, that he's got to produce that socialist, communist bullshit, you know. But an additional $6.4 trillion will be raised in revenue from selling energy from regional power marketing administrations. So basically paying Peter to kick Paul at this point. Instead of robbing Peter to pay Paul, yeah, he's kicking Paul, shaking him down, along with $2.2 trillion in income tax from the new jobs created. Think about that, $2.3 trillion just in income tax, and he said this is from the new jobs created. Think about the percentages that would fucking take. Okay, seriously, think about the percentages. How in the hell would somebody afford to be able to pay those taxes? We can't, man. We broke, bitch. We poor people. We can't do that. What is it? Are the new jobs like fucking $3 million a year jobs, $4 million a year jobs? Is that how we're going to pay for it? And is there going to be 150 million jobs? I just wonder. Yes, Orange Man bad. Orange Man absolutely bad, you know? And yes, Sean, I agree. It's just all the emotive rubbish from the left. Absolutely fantastic. Hey, oh, it's nice to see you too. Hopefully, the audio is coming through absolutely clear. hopefully that works out for you. And thank you very much for saying that, by the way. We appreciate it. Matt's not here with me today. I'm on my own. All right. Well, I might do that. I might get back to you on that. Definitely. And I appreciate you joining us and everything. And thank you very much. Sanders says the Green New Deal will save taxpayers $2.9 trillion over 10 years and ultimately $70.4 trillion over the next 80 years. He counters with $34.5 trillion. Sanders says the U.S. stands to lose by the year 2100 in economic productivity if the government does not act. So again, we're going back with the whole nanny state thing. Again, we're back with the nanny state. The government knows what's best for you, and you should listen to them because they do such a fucking great job right now, right? Yeah, I wish they did, honestly, because it would make our lives a lot easier. The only problem is what he says is absolute lunacy, and it's absolutely not true. When it comes to Medicare for all, he says that at Yale University, he said that the Sanders' proposal would save $450 billion in healthcare costs and 68,000 lives a year. I respectfully disagree because, like I said, we are already living underneath Obamacare, which, by the way, is Bernie Sanders light. Hey, Mr. Brian, how you doing, brother? I had some fun times at the beginning here, Brian. But we're talking Bernie Sanders right now. But like I said, through the Green New Deal and the Medicare for All get the most thorough explanation. The campaign outlines how Sanders plans to pay for some of his other programs as well. College for all. See, it's a free for all. This is all they want to do. Everything is going to be fucking free. We know how it's going to be paid for. It's on the backs of everybody. It's going to be backs on, it's going to be on the back of all of us. Okay? And we're already poor. We're already hurting. Everybody here is hurting. Everybody that's listening to this radio show that's in an earshot on the 5 streaming services that we're on, YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, Periscope, all that shit. Everybody in Spreaker. I keep forgetting Spreaker, and that's our hosting service. That's fucking terrible. But everybody that's listening to this can't afford this, okay? They can't afford this type of shit. Nothing is ever free. Somebody has to fucking pay for it. And that's you and me. They don't understand. They can't, grasp the concept that adding more taxes hurts people. The one thing that they forget about is that all this shit adds up. Every single type of tax that you pay from day to day adds up. And they can't understand this. They can't understand that this would hurt somebody. This would hurt you or me, period. They just keep going. Like, well, we're going to tax this, 1%, 2% here, 1% here. Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. All it does is cause harm. If you would lower taxes and allow people to have more money, to spend, you'd be surprised how much better things would be. And yes, Brian, I see your text. I'm just not answering. Love you, brother. One of other Sanders' lovely plans that he pushed out there is the wealth tax. On those with a net worth of at least $32 million. Well, you know what? There's not going to be many of those because cocksuckers like you make sure that we can't make it that far. Yeah, thank you, Brian. Oh, Brian, I'll get you started, all right? Start up. Fire it up. Sanders figures that tax would raise $4.32 trillion, which would be used to pay for Housing for All plan. Oh, jeez. Here we go again. The Housing for All plan to eliminate homelessness, as well as the Universal Child Care Pre-K program, which would give free child care and preschool to every family. These are all lovely, lofty ideas, but this is not how this works, man. You can fight it all you want. Sanders is currently the front runner, obviously, like I said earlier, for the 2020 Democratic race. That should fucking terrify the living shit out of you, though. I'm serious, man. Bolshevik Bernie is the fucking leader. No wonder the Democrats are going into the shithouse. And of course, you know, he's followed by Booty Juice. Well, Butt Keg, whatever his fucking name is. You know, Buttigieg, Buddy Juice, Booty Juice, Butt Plug. I just call him Butt Plug or Booty Juice. That's perfectly fine with me. And Creepy Joe, child sniffing Biden, and Pocahontas Warren. How can you take the Democrats serious at all with this kind of lineup? Yes. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry. Good times. I gotta tell everybody, you know, how things are running here, and it sucks. But I understand this thing is like sometimes a little bit twitchy. Man, yeah. It just and I hadn't even really broke into half of the whole Bernie Sanders thing. I'm just getting started, unfortunately. But you know, like I said, you got Mayor Petey Booty Juice and child sniffing Biden and you know, faux Indian Warren and Amy Klobuchar, which by the way is like flatlining pretty much. You notice that they don't even say Bloomberger is not even in the list, man. Bloomberger's doing that bad, but Bloomberg is a fucking moron. We beat him up left and right on this show to begin with because, you know, he's kind of easy. People sending me personal texts. This is great, guys. I'm trying to run a show here. Chill out, man. Come on, you're killing me. But yeah, this is where things are headed. Just out of curiosity, I want to know. I gotta know. Explain to me what the draw is with Bernie Sanders. I just want to know. I want to know what's so exciting about that crazy old fart that would make you want to vote for him. I mean, is it the high taxes? Is it the not so free college or the whole remaking of I don't know, the healthcare system that's already broken? It wasn't broken before. It was expensive. They could have fixed that part of it, but it wasn't broken. Yeah, thank you for that. Which is the reason why I still have spinal problems a year and a half later. Yeah, we already have a year and a half problem with, you know, with waiting and getting things fixed. But that's cool because Bernie Sanders will make it free to wait. Yeah. Oh, hey, listen, Mr. Brian Lang of the Live Truth Radio. I come up with another shirt. I think you'll like it. Well, I didn't come up with it. I just produced it for another company. But you know, it says Bolshevik Bernie's modern day Pravda. And for those of you who don't know and live under a rock and never learned about anything about history, Pravda is the newspaper that was made. It was before Stalin's time, but it was made extremely popular during Stalin's time. It was his go-to paper to produce his whole, propaganda. And CNN seems to be Bernie's new version of that. And yes, listener Jason, I understand that completely, and that's what I've been saying all along. He says I'm gonna read this from listener Jason. The draw is in part improperly taught history, political science course, and libs being allowed to push their ideas through classroom on high school students. Absolutely correct. They're doing it even younger now. Mr. Matt has actually had to deal with that with his young son and the school here in our. I swear I'm not pissing in a cup. I'm pouring more booze. Yeah, we've dealt with that, and actually, I don't know if you remember, Jason, but a couple years ago, they released a new textbook, and it was basically empty of anything history. I mean, they condensed important history down into basically a chapter, if not less, including the founding of the country. And they changed the Second Amendment to you can have a gun, but only if you're this and that and this and that. I mean, they didn't tell you what the Second Amendment was. And I actually rose a fucking stink about that. I went to Springfield, to the schools, and tried to gain audience. I went all over the place on the radio show, everywhere I could, and they finally, it changed. The lesson plan changed. I say, this is bullshit. Don't ever do it again. You will either teach it correctly, or we'll make sure that we will watch you, because they're getting to the point now where they won't even allow children to take their textbooks home because they don't want the parents to fucking know what they're putting in them nowadays. That's how terrible this shit is. I am sorry about that, man. I am sorry that your poor daughter had to watch the Democratic debates, because it's terrifying. And who is this crazy guy at the bottom? Yes, the Project Veritas video. I did watch it, and it was absolutely and completely insane. And thank you, Mr. Brian. I'm trying to respond to everybody here. And who's this crazy guy with a weird name at the bottom of my chat? He says his hair is the only reason to vote for Bernie. I do love his hair. But I mean, identify yourself. I want to know who you are. I mean, at least I know who you are, but does anybody else know who this is? Is it Matt? Oh, I just thought it was some weird guy that just kind of found our radio show. Yeah, Matt has joined us, everybody. He's not here in person, but he's here in spirit, apparently. He's in our chat room pestering us. Hi, Matt. Matt, I already told everybody earlier you had the flu, and you definitely weren't going to make it here, and I put your ass under quarantine. So we're good. Yeah, exactly. Everybody's got to love Bernie's hair, though. Honestly, it's beautiful. It's amazing. I mean, who can rock the the gray-haired version of Bozo the Clown so well? I really wonder that. I think he's the only one that can pull that off. Yeah, the gray-haired version of Bozo the Clown. People should remember the Bozo the Clown. If you don't, I'm sorry. We're old people. Just put it out there. We are, in fact, old. All right, now I'm trying to find something for break because I'm... Yeah, I understand that, man. Like I said, you're quarantined. Your ass ain't allowed here for another week. If I catch you in the studio for another week, I'm going to kick you in the nuts. I've had enough of being sick. I'm still dealing with an upper respiratory at the moment. Let's find something we haven't played for a really, really long time or something. Yeah, I'm going to go for this. All right, we are going to be right back. Well, I'm going to be right back. I'm sorry. I'm used to saying we because Matt's usually here, but he's in the chat room instead. So, oops. Yeah, I'll be right back. Searching for a unique gift, something personalized for that special someone? Well, look no further. Skyscraper Vinyl offers a wide variety of custom-made products, sure to please even the most difficult person to buy a gift for. Skyscraper has anything from custom-etched glass products, vinyl decals, t-shirts, wood-based products, and even metal art. You can reach Skyscraper by phone at 217-827-7703 or visit them on Facebook at facebook.com/skyscrapervinyl. For handmade high-quality products, choose Skyscraper Vinyl. Hewitttville proud. It's time for a random thought from the Machine Radio Show. This is Brandon from the Machine Radio Show. Just a thought. Never make eye contact while eating a banana. It may weird a few people out. This has been your random thought from the Machine Radio Show. I have really got to start recording some more of those, honestly. I really have to. And Matt, I'm glad you're slowly getting over it, but you are still quarantined for another week. No, I've already been sick twice this year. I got an upper respiratory now, and I was sick as fuck during New Year's and shit. No. Sorry, dude. I love you, brother, but just no. And then I got sick around my birthday, too, I think. I wasn't feeling well around my birthday. I was getting my ass kicked. It fucking sucks. I've taken a beating this year. I really have. But yeah, I've definitely got to get on the whole random thoughts and start recording some new ones. We got some cool ones. We just don't play a lot of them, and I want new ones. I want new shiny stuff. But since we talked about Bolshevik Bernie, now let's talk about creepy child sniffing Joe Bite Me. He said in his latest gaffe, which is a long list because, he told everybody on national television that he was running for Senate instead of fucking presidency the other day. Yeah, it's that good. He's that good. He's just absolutely amazing. But he coughed up another one. Like I'm doing right now with my upper respiratory. Excuse me. He says he worked on a 2016 climate change accord with a leader who actually died in 1997. This man was your fucking vice president. This is a big one. This is a big gaffe. I mean, he makes a lot of gaffes, but son of a bitch. But then again, look at the administration he was in. They did a lot of gaffes. But Mr. Gaff Prone himself stuck his foot in his mouth again. During a campaign stop in South Carolina, ahead of the state's primary that was on Saturday, Biden told the crowd his experience on the world stage as vice president under, Mr. B.O., body odor, Barack Obama, because that fucker stunk. It made him the right person to defeat Mr. Trump. One of the things I am proudest of getting passed is getting moved is the control on the Paris Climate Accord. This is what Biden was saying. He says, I'm the guy who came back after meeting with Deng Xiaoping and make the case that I believe China will join if we put the pressure on them. We got almost 200 nations to join, he said. The only problem is Deng Xiaoping, China's former paramount leader, died in 1997. This guy's a fucking retard. Oh, I said the R word. I'm sorry. It's bad. It's really bad. It's unclear if Biden was referring to China's current president. I don't even want to try to pronounce that. Xi Jinping, who took power in 2013 and oversaw China's involvement in the 2016 climate deal. But, yeah. But the 77-year-old whose White House bid is now on life support, literally life support. I'm pretty sure he's absolute flatline at this point. Yeah, he blew this one out the water. He also had claimed at one point though that he was cuffed in Soweto with the U.S. ambassador for trying to visit Mandela at Robben Island prison in the 1970s. But of course, Andrew Young, the former U.S. ambassador to the UN who traveled with Biden to South Africa, denied whatever happened. He goes, "No, I was never arrested, and I don't think he was either." So we're dealing with Biden again and his incessant gaffing issues and not knowing what the fuck is going on. Man, I don't want to even, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go ahead and read it. Read what's wrote here. Biden is pinning his presidential hopes on black voters in the Palmetto State, long considered his campaign's firewall, after his disastrous showings in Iowa and New Hampshire. But new polls show Biden's huge lead has vanished, and he is locked in a tight race with Vermont socialists and Bernie Sanders. These are your two front runners. And you think Orange Man bad. Oh, I haven't laughed that hard since I was a little girl. Oh, the days we are having. Both of these men are like as useful as a cock-flavored lollipop. Honestly. I don't know how people... I'm still trying to find the answer as to how anybody at all would ever possibly, maybe at all, support the Democrat Party. I cannot figure that out. I mean, look at who is running. Look at who is running and look at what they say and tell me you think this is what's best for, a free nation. Just show me how well that they would do. Because I would respectfully disagree, as would most people who, understand anything at all. They would disagree. But that being said, I'm going to take a quick, another quick break here before we get into some of the real fun, new fun that I just managed to drum up here. So we'll be right back.
Let's burn it fucking down! Yeah! Back from the dead to tell you that I'm alive. Kill me your way, but I survived. Fuck the blueprint, I redesign. Death or exile, you decide. Tell them all that I made my name. Tell them all that I played my way. Found the feeling when face to face. Now it's mine to send up with flames. Right here is as far as you go. This right here is where I lose control. This right here is as far as you go. Burn it all down, burn it all down. I don't give a fuck. Burn it all down, burn it to the ground. Things on flames, go insane. Burn it all down, burn it all down. Fuck what they say, fuck everything. Lies and rage, gasoline. Kill it all, kill everything and burn it all down, burn it all down. Inside when I close my eyes, vision built that you can't deny. Born and bred to take back what's mine. Break a bow down, you decide. Tell them all that you can't be saved. Tell them all that you dug this grave. Learn to live in this mess you made. Now it's mine to send up in flames. This right here is as far as you go. This right here is the end of the road. This right here is as far as you go. So burn it all down, burn it all down. I don't give a fuck. Burn it all down, burn it to the ground. Things on flames, go insane. Burn it all down, burn it all down. The time is up, there's no return. Fuck them all, watch them burn. Yeah, 'cause I don't give a fuck. Fuck what they say, fuck everything. Lies and rage, gasoline. Kill it all, kill everything and burn it all down, burn it all down.
I just got a question for everybody. Do you like tattoos and body art? I mean, are you like me, you know, I mean, I'm not even finished with this arm, but I'm getting ready to start this one already, baby. Yeah, I mean, I've got tattoos in other places that, you know, some of you might not want to see. Well, some of you might, you know. I am rather dashing. Yes. But, you know, I had to ask that question. And I misspelled somebody's name because I'm trying to type quickly. You know, I just had to ask. You know, does everybody like body art? I mean, piercings, tattoos, you name it. I love it. I love it. I was for the longest time a part of the body modification community. I still am. I love them. I love them. I love my tattoos and everything else like that. But, you know, it'd be nice if people would show love to certain sponsors that the Machine Radio Show has. And one of them is, you know, these gentlemen right here. If it's that time again to indulge yourself with some new ink or maybe a body piercing, then Forever Yours Tattoo Studio is the place for you. 27 years experience in tattoos and body piercing, artist Ricky Johnson has you covered, pun intended. Freehand or custom drawn art, maybe some permanent cosmetics, repair of the half done or faded work you got years ago. Or maybe you need a cover up on that nasty scratcher ink you got in a dusty old basement with a sewing needle. Ricky will take care of you. Forever Yours is located at 209 West Main Cross Street in Taylorville. Stop on in or give them a call at 217-824-2INK. They are open Wednesday through Saturday, 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. They are also open 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. every other Tuesday. Forever Yours is a health board certified business using modern sterilizing equipment. Tell them the two nutballs on the Machine Radio Show sent you. All right, I am back, and let's talk about, we were talking about the Democratic debates earlier. You know, the shit show. What's in the bottle? That would be the Kraken, Mr. Chris. We're not officially sponsored by them or anything, so I'm technically not supposed to show the label, but, you know, I do anyway because, I mean, it's free promotion for them. We actually have a drink that Matt and I have came up with that we will be doing a video on. So we'll be posting it on YouTube and other places to let everybody know that there is a drink called the Machine. So enjoy that, man. It's good stuff. It's 94 proof black spice rum. You just can't go wrong with it. It is amazing. It really is. But, you know, we were talking about the Democratic debates, and one of the things that, you know, pops out automatically, other than the constant free shit and overage of taxes and the general raping that this country is going to receive if any of these, heads of cabbage make it to the presidency. They also like going after the Second Amendment. But the Democrats... basically competed to out anti-gun each other in South Carolina. They really did this. They went out of their way as hard as they could. And of course, Joe Child Sniffer Biden was the first one to come out and talk about how he was able to pass the Clinton gun ban in 1994 before he took a swipe at Bernie Sanders for voting for the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. Biden's gaffes have been coming fast and furious, obviously. We've just talked about a few of them earlier. But he bizarrely claimed that 150 million Americans have been killed by guns since 2007.
Hell no, to the no, no, no.
Hell to the no.
Hell to the no, to the no, no, no.
Think about that. Think about what I just said. He said, again, 150 million Americans have been killed by guns since 2007. what's the population in the United States, and how many would that be? I believe that's a fairly large percentage of people that live here. So we are basically in the apocalypse. It's like the fucking purge, only since 2007, right? Biden finished by issuing a threat to gun manufacturers that he will come for them if he's elected. Okay. Sure you will. This has been, a part of his whole speech for several days. And every time he looks at the camera, he points his finger. He's like, yeah, it's like he's taken, he's like his predecessor. He's like he's like his best friend, B.O., body odor, Barack Obama. He's just like him. Everything's off a teleprompter. So he's like, wipe it here, or point your finger, or sniff that child, or something. I mean, he does that on his own. Yeah, exactly, listener Chris. That's what I was going after. A third of the population is already gone, from gun violence. So we're all dying here. This is repetitious death. We all getting fucked up. Yes, Matt, that's exactly what he said. 150 million. Okay, somebody else said half the population. Yeah, I was going to say a third, but, given the information that I have in front of me, I'm agreeing with you. He basically said, a half of the country just died from gunshot wounds. The gangsters be out thick, yo. Anyhow, let's go on to, faux native, Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. She said she completely changed the subject from gun control to her desire to get rid of the filibuster in the Senate, which she said is needed in order to pass gun control. So, she wants to change the rules to where we can't filibuster, which is bullshit. The thing is, she never got back to gun control bills she wanted to pass, but spent her entire time rambling about removing the filibuster in order to pass a number of her proposals. Yep. Okay. Let's do that. Yeah. And when Bolshevik Bernie, his name is Bernie now. Bolshevik Bernie popped his rather old head up. He had the opportunity basically to respond to this, and he swiped back at Child Sniff and said, by noting he had voted for terrible trade agreements. The crowd in South Carolina didn't like that and booed Sanders for his dodge. Sanders said the point was that every politician makes a bad vote every now and then. Bernie, you've made nothing but bad votes. In fact, you normally don't vote. You've just been sitting there collecting a fucking paycheck, you dick. And he said his vote in support of the PLCAA was simply that, a bad vote. Sanders proudly touted his D rating from the NRA and said that we need to expand background checks, close gun control loophole, and do what the Americans, not the NRA, wants. Let me remind you of something, Bolshevik Bernie. The NRA is the people. They're not fucking politicians. They're not just an entity. They represent us. They are us. This is why you are looked at and laughed at, because you fuckers don't know anything, and especially the gun control, the gun show loophole. Last I checked, I still had to do paperwork to bring home a firearm. The only time I was able to bring home one right away was because I was a gun dealer. So I had no issue taking that gun with me. You know why? Because I was going to fucking sell it. There you go. And I had to go through, everything but a fucking physical to get that license. But the expand background checks. You guys can't even deal with the background checks that we have now. What the fuck do you think you're going to do with expanded background checks? I don't understand what you're trying to say there, because it's just not going to fucking work that way.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The background checks that are already on the books are more than sufficient. It's whether or not you enact it, you use them utilize them properly, that they would mean anything. The NICS system is there, and it works, but only if you use it. I mean, there were several of the shootings that could have been stopped by just using the NICS system properly. It's not on the backs of Americans. Okay? It's on the backs of you idiots who couldn't figure it out. And I can't wait to play the song for this one again. Bloomberg, who earlier in the debate, he'd slipped and talked about having bought congressional seats. Bloomberger, I'll tell you what, I am getting sick of his fucking ads. I am dead serious. I am sick of his ads. I just want to watch TV. I don't want to see the Bloomberg, the failure, on every fucking commercial. In fact, somebody should get punched in the dick. The programmer should get punched in the dick for playing a Bloomberg ad during a debate. It actually happened. They played a candidate's ad during the Democratic debates. If I was the other candidates, and thankfully I don't have a D next to my name, I'd be pissed as shit for having his ads play during my time. I really would. But, he, like I said, he slipped and said he bought congressional seats for dozens of Democrats in 2018 elections, which, by the way, includes the great, amazing, breathing potato, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the female Bernie Sanders that everybody wants to fuck. Yeah, and I said that, okay, because it's true. There's people that have told me. I mean, as long as you can tape her mouth shut, she might be worth something. But again, the whole controversial part of this show, I could give a shit less. All right, I don't care if I hurt your feelings. I'm not politically correct. Matt's not politically correct. We're not politically correct. But anyhow, back to Bloomberger. He said he has a 6 million person organization that has put background check laws on the books in 20 states. Of course, he didn't talk about the fact that those laws haven't led to any fewer crimes, according to FBI crime statistics, which anybody can read fairly simply. In fact, I posted them. I seen what your phone said, listener Angela, and I'm sorry that happened. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, Chris. I just looked over at the other screen. I know it's from earlier, but I was wondering if Mr. Brian Lang from Live Truth Radio is still with us too. But he hasn't said anything lately, so I'm guessing not. But anyhow, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar stuck to her theme for the night. The Democrats need a Midwesterner to win the nation's midsection November. Yeah, just not you. No. She's hoping to portray herself as a moderate who can bring independents and Republicans to the Democratic fold. The only problem is anybody with an IQ above 40. I mean, I'm talking, at least somebody that has a Forrest Gump level intellect is not going to vote for a Democrat. Sorry. She said, at this point, I'm starting to get worried. Let me back up. Oh, she brought up her Uncle Dick in the deer stand, which she has done every single time she's been asked about firearms in a debate setting, and that's absolutely true that she has done this. She's brought up Uncle Dick. I wonder if Dick is Dick Cheney. I don't know. You never know. But At this point, I'm starting to get worried for the guy. It sounds like he's been up there for months, and it also sounds like Amy Klobuchar doesn't know any other gun owners besides her uncle who lives in a tree stand. I love how these people write sometimes. But Booty Juice, or Butt Keg, or Butt Plug, or whatever the fuck his name is, also stuck to the same talking points he brings up when asked about gun control, namely that anything that even resembles a weapon of war he carried in Afghanistan shouldn't be sold in his country. And as always, the moderators, obviously, they asked him a follow-up question. If you don't think modern sporting rifles should be sold in the United States, what do you think should happen to the roughly 18 million rifles in private hands, including the one that is sitting in the other room, not far from me, obviously. And no, I'm not going to go get it because I'm the only one here, so I don't have anybody to fill up the dead air while I go and grab a rifle. Burning on St. Pants. Jeez, come on, guys. If you notice, there really wasn't... Oh, man. You know the rules. I'll read the text message. Oh, there's nothing to read. Just photos. Okay. We're good. Safe at home. And my nose keeps running. This whole upper respiratory is kicking my ass, man. But anyhow, if if anyone didn't notice at the debates at all, there wasn't much really of any discussion and any actual proposals by any of the fucking Democrats. There wasn't any. None at all. The candidates didn't even bother to mention any of their gun control plans. They just basically went into a steep downhill drop, and they never answered the question. None of them ever answered that question at all. And along those lines, I got some friends that are out there that seem to think, they bring up, President Trump and like, well, he's no friend to the Second Amendment at all, and this and that because, well, he got rid of the bump stocks. And he's for red flag laws. He was for red flag laws at one point. He didn't know what to do. And after the Vegas shooting, he had two choices with the whole gun control thing. It was either get rid of a expensive novelty piece of plastic that rendered your firearm basically useless and inaccurate. It's a novelty item. It really is. Any real shooter would know that. But he had the choice to either get rid of that or go for the gun ban itself, because those were the two options that were set forth. So he decided to get rid of the novelty piece of plastic. You're fucking welcome. Again, any real shooter wouldn't have that thing in the first place, so I don't really miss it. Do you? I mean, I can do the same thing with a rubber band. I shouldn't have said that out loud. But, you can. But still, the difference between him and these people is they really want to take away your guns. They absolutely do. They have no question about it. They are not hiding it. They are talking about gun bans, mandatory buybacks, and all sorts of fun things. So why would you support them if you're a Second Amendment person over President Trump? I just want to know. I mean, if you could explain it to me in a way that is important and actually, makes sense, by all means. But as for now, this song just absolutely fits with the Democratic front runners. So, here you go.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I
count to 4. I can only count to.
You know, I'm really getting excited, and I'll tell you why. Racing season is upon us. Everybody's getting their shit together. Everybody's getting their race cars together. This is absolutely fantastic, and I fucking love it. I love it. Nobody that I know does not like the sound of a good race car. What about you guys? Do you guys like race cars? Do you like hearing that raw power? Better yet, do you like having that raw power? There's a company that can actually do that for you. I mean, you know, you don't have to listen to me though. This is Brandon from the Machine Radio Show. If you are anything like me, then you love having plenty of horsepower to play around with. That is why I recommend visiting NCP Speed Machine in Taylorville. NCP offers many services such as performance engine builds, automotive machining, specialty car repair, performance parts, and dyno services. If you want a great reliable stock rebuild or enough horsepower to make your pants tight and your face crack with a smile, then NCP Speed Machine is your place to go. You can give them a call at 217-825-8249 or stop in and say hello. NCP is located at 110 North Webster Street in Taylorville, Illinois. Tell them Brandon from the Machine Radio Show sent you. That's right. If you like fucking horsepower, then you should talk to me, and you should go see my friend Mr. Heath at NCP Speed Machine, which is New Covenant Performance. They do an absolute fantastic job. In fact, they do all my engine work. So, yeah, you should go check them out. Well, let's get moving back again, and let's talk about Mr. Bloomberger. We've talked about Bolshevik Bernie and child sniffing Joe Biden and Fohantis. But let's remember that the cocksucker from New York, and yes, I said cocksucker because he really is. He's a piece of shit. And what I'm referring to is the fact that, do you remember not long ago, they tried to put a mosque close to Ground Zero. Okay. Well, Bloomberg actually was, he was a proponent to that. He actually thought it was a great idea. He's desperately trying to cash in on his political capital, his political clout, as you would say it, for, then after the 9/11 attacks, just the great things that he did for that city because, he's Bloomberg and he did all this wonderful stuff, but, remember September 11, 2001, I will never forget that shit. 19 radicalized Muslim men hijacked commercial airplanes and knocked down the Twin Towers and killed, man, it was a major attack. 3,000 people died. And at least that I know of, at least 6,000 injured as well. So, you got Bloomberg who's out there pushing this whole thing. He's touting about just how great he did with it and stuff like that. And then he was the first one to, when they decided they wanted to put the mosque across the street from where the towers once stood, just thought it was he was obviously the greatest thing ever. But anyhow, during a protest over the project, at Ground Zero, construction workers said if they put a mosque up right here in the shadow of the World Trade Center before we finish building it back up, what's next? And I absolutely agree with them. Because, let me give you some insight as to why they would want a mosque there. Okay, why they wanted a mosque there. You know why? Because this is how they mark their territory when they conquer an area. They see this as a win, so they want to put it as close to where the Twin Towers were as possible, if not on the fucking property itself. But Bloomberg, and you need to, if you don't believe me, you need to kind of look it up and see what they did, the conquering of lands. Bloomberg was vocal in support of the project, despite the strong opposition from many groups, including 9/11 families. And he still said, basically go fuck yourself. I'll do what I want. The mayor ignored those who justifiably opposed the project, saying in 2010, I think it's fair to say if somebody was going to try on that piece of property to build a church or a synagogue, nobody would be yelling or screaming. No, because they weren't the ones that killed 3,000 fucking people. That was a stupid thing to say. But it's worth noting that, St. Nicholas, the Greek Orthodox Church on the site of Ground Zero that was obliterated in the attacks, was still tied up in red tape after the mosque and Islamic Center was approved. Think about that. It was already there. It got wiped out by Islamic terrorists, and here you go. The Mosque and Islamic Center project was shelved in 2011, and a condo was built in its place, thankfully. Bloomberg thinks that the Ground Zero Mosque is a winning issue for him, actually. He actually believes this. He thinks this is just, fucking peachy, And he says, after 9/11, New Yorkers of all faiths came together to rebuild the city. So when groups opposed a mosque near Ground Zero, I spoke up. You know, he's beating his chest. I spoke up. It was me. You know, Muslims are as much a part of NYC in America as people of any faith. Our doors are open to everyone with a dream and willingness to work hard. Oh, do I really, really, really want to get into this? Seriously, I kind of wonder if I should or not. But
some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
And you know, I understand that, you know, it's a hot topic, but still, this is, you know, this is insane. It's insane that he would do this. You know, in a recent political ad put out by presidential hopeful, you know, Mr. Dipshit himself, falsely boasted that he, not Giuliani, led a complex diverse city through 9/11. Actually, it was Giuliani that did. This is obviously going to be a part of his 2020 presidential campaign, thanks in large part to Bloomberg. His own campaign spotlighting. He's spotlighting it. He's going full retard on this. You know, there was at least another New Yorker, obviously, who stood firm against the project, said, absolutely not, this is not going to happen. But in an effort to squash the planned mosque and Islamic Center, Donald Trump offered to buy the site back when he was a real estate mogul instead of president. Our own president tried to stop this before he was president. So he should get some credit for this, obviously. But, you know, he said, you know, in a tweet, he said, the Ground Zero mosque should not go up where planned. It is wrong, and my offer still stands to buy the property. That was in 2012. But let's let Bloomberger, you know, think that this is a great fucking idea and it should happen. And he keeps going on with it. He really does. During the debates I've watched unfortunately on several occasions, he constantly said that, you know, well, I brought, you know, New York back from the brink when 9/11, you know, it's absolutely not true. Like we said, Mayor Giuliani did that. It's nuts. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Now let's talk about, let's move on from Bloomberger and his, you know what, I'm going to play the fucking song, the Bloomberger anti-gun song first, I think. And then we'll get back to what we got going on here. Of course, I got to find it. It's never where I want it to be. And by the way, we edited this. This is something that Weaponized Sloth Productions had actually produced. So you're welcome. And we'll be right back.
The ghost guy. The ghost guy.
If you haven't hit the deer with 3 shots, you're a pretty lousy shot. That deer deserves to get away.
Are you, in fact, in favor of gun confiscation?
Yes, when it comes to AR-15s and AK-47s, weapons designed for use on a military battlefield, the high-impact, high-velocity round that is fired from those weapons, when it hits your body, expends all of its kinetic energy, destroying everything.
It's legal to hunt humans with 15-round, 30-round, even 150-round magazines.
Full semi-automatic.
The ghost guy. The Ghost Guy.
The AR-15, for good, bad, or indifferent, is the most commonly owned in the country.
It is not common. It is unusual. And no one in this country, including owners of AR-15s and AK-47s, think that what is happening right now is okay.
I've held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I had it. It is as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving. And the bullet that is utilized, a 50 caliber, these kinds of bullets, need to be licensed and do not need to be...
This is a Ghost Gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second. The Ghost Gun. The Ghost Gun.
It's time for a random thought from the Machine Radio Show. This is Brandon from the Machine Radio Show. Isn't sex kind of like playing bridge? If you don't have a good partner, you better have a good hand. This has been your random thought from the Machine Radio Show. And I'm back, and really the only thing I got left is, again, Miss Aunt Nancy. We can't go very long without having this crazy bitch show up in our show. Seriously. But everybody knows by now about the problems in China and about the coronavirus and all that stuff that's going on, and it is terrifying. And there are measures that are going here to protect us from it. And I'm going to start right off with the fact that the first thing that they said was, well, Trump cuts. Trump's cuts. They got after the CDC and stuff like that, and that's absolutely not true. The cuts never went through, and two, he was cutting wasteful spending, not things that were actually being used and useful, which would probably be this, But I can't say either way, really, because there's really no information out there. I did a lot of research on it, and I couldn't find anything definitive on either side as to what's going on. But let's just say it does kind of point in favor of the president, only because the cuts never went through. That's all I can say. I can't say anything else other than that. But Aunt Nancy there, the purveyor of bullshit vodka, the taste tester of bullshit vodka, actually, says it's too late for Trump, at the administration to stem the coronavirus outbreak. This is what she had to say. This is shameful. Yeah, she said that. This is shameful. She told all the reporters. She said, sending a $2.5 billion supplemental budget request to combat the illness, he puts forth a proposal now that is meager and anemic in terms of addressing this. Ebola, we did $5 billion, and we're trying to take the Ebola money and spend it here. Well, Ebola ended up being a scare, didn't it? It really did. It didn't manifest the way that Aunt Nancy had said it was going to at the time. Not even close. And I'm hoping that, with the coronavirus, this doesn't happen either. But he says what he's doing is too late, too anemic, just way too anemic. hopefully we can make up for the loss of time, but we have to have professionals in place and resources that are adequate and do not use scare tactics about people coming back to our country. Okay, people are dying from this, you crazy woman. So putting somebody in quarantine for a few days, about maybe a month or so, when they come from an area that, I don't know, has people dying from the coronavirus, I don't think it's that much to ask. I mean, if it was me and I was coming off of a cruise ship or an airline and somebody said, well, you're going to have to chill in this really nice hotel room for a month because you may or may not be a carrier or infected, and we need to make sure that, I'd be like, shit. Cheeseburgers, tacos, the Kraken, and a fucking Xbox, and we're good. We're good, homie. I will enjoy the shit out of that 1 month. I'm just saying. But, the administration's request proposes spending unused funds earmarked to fight Ebola. So he's trying to save his money instead of just adding more onto it. But the officials are seeking $1.25 billion in new money for the vaccine development and purchasing protective equipment. She was asked for her thoughts on President Trump's comments about the coronavirus. Pelosi replied, I don't think the president knows what he's talking about once again. Yeah, because you do. It's worked out beautifully so far with you talking at all. But on Wednesday, I think it was, it had to have been Tuesday or Wednesday, the president announced that he will deliver a press conference on his administration's response to the virus and took aim at the establishment media for making the illness look as bad as possible. And absolutely, they're right. He's right, actually. CNN are doing everything possible to make the coronavirus look as bad as possible, including panicking markets if possible. Likewise, their incompetent do-nothing Democrat comrades are all talk, no action. And the U.S. is in great shape. I cannot argue with that because we have been closely monitoring this, and, it's not an epidemic here yet. I'm saying yet because, there's always that possibility. He said, I will be having a news conference at the White House on this subject at 6 p.m., which most people, if I watched some of it, I didn't get the chance to watch all of it, but that was, I believe that was on Tuesday, or I think it was Wednesday. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but wasn't it on Wednesday? Yes, I agree with that. And I said that something to that effect, and I got called a crazy person because I said that the coronavirus is nothing but a mutated flu virus. And it has been around for a while. And I got called absolutely nuts for saying that. I really did. But, while returning from India on Air Force One, the president also criticized Democratic presidential candidates for accusing his administration of mishandling the outbreak. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. I don't know where he was mishandling this at all. I tried to figure that out. I actually gave him the benefit of the doubt. Said, okay, maybe he fucked up. And I looked, and I couldn't find where he had actually failed. He said the CDC and my administration are doing a great job of handling coronavirus, including the very early closing of our borders. Excuse me, to certain areas of the world. It was opposed by the Democrats, but turned out to be a correct decision. No matter how well we do, however, the Democrats' talking point is we're always doing badly, and he's absolutely correct about that. And I understand, people are like, well, you can't close the borders because of that. Absolutely you can, because it's terrifying that there may be a chance that we're sending these people in. crap. I had to respond to somebody and lost my spot. But anyhow, earlier Tuesday, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which is CDC, warned that Americans could see significant disruption if the virus continues to spread in the U.S., and hopefully it will not, because we tried to slow down that as much as possible. Ultimately, we expect we will see community spread in this country. Dr. Nancy Messonnier, I believe it's how it's said, Messonnier, director of the CDC's National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, told reporters. So we are actually hoping that this is possibly. It was Wednesday, Matt. Thanks, man, because I didn't know. I couldn't remember if it was Tuesday or Wednesday. My days are a little bit off. I'm sure you can understand that. We're both kind of medicated for everybody's safety. I mean, no, we're sick, so, But, I don't understand exactly what they're trying to portray here, because he did not cut the spending. Oh, this is lovely. He did not cut any spending, and it never went through. I swear I'll get this out eventually. And honestly, that's not what he was trying to cut to begin with. Like I said earlier, he was trying to cut the wasteful spending, the stuff that wasn't going to anything important. And this actually is important, as is a lot of things that the CDC does. So I don't believe that. But then again, I cannot find, the here nor there of that. I really can't. But, I'm just going to say a lot. I hope that this, that this tapers off and not a lot of people are affected, especially here. I mean, I don't want anybody affected. I don't want people affected in China or anywhere else in the world for that matter. But, hopefully this starts to go away here soon. China's taking drastic measures, but they're kind of doing it in a strange way. If you haven't watched any of the videos or read any of what they're doing, it's kind of bizarre. But hopefully it works, for the benefit of their people. But, that being said, I do believe I don't think I have anything else, unless Matt has something in the background that he wants to add and wants me to talk about. But I think that's pretty much it. Let's see here. Yeah, that's everything I have in my notes. So basically, I guess on that note, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us once again. Matt wasn't here, but, join us. It's not just me. Oh, Matt, what did Matt say? Well, you can't think of anything right now anyway, because your head's just as clouded as mine. We're both medicated. And not in the fun way either. I mean, we're like medicated because, I got an upper respiratory kicking my ass. He has the flu kicking his ass. So, we're having a great time. But that being said, I guess we're done for the night. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Everybody on YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, Periscope, Spreaker, Facebook, YouTube, I already said YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all those. And thanks to Restream for helping us out. And we'll be back next week, hopefully with Matt, if he hasn't, keeled over from the flu. And I'm out of here.